Hey everyone, Tina Hogan Grant here with my Cup and a Natter that I like to do twice a month on a Monday. I bring authors into my home. We talk about books, writing, life as an author. And this evening I have Lorraine Russell joining me. How are you this evening, my dear?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to talk to you. And we were talking before we went live, but this is your debut novel.
It
So
is.
I am really excited about this. So congratulations, number one, on actually finishing the book and publishing the book. That in itself is a huge achievement. But before we get started, can you just give us a little background on yourself or whatever you want to share with the rest of the
Mhm.
world?
Yeah, sure. So I'm originally from Wisconsin, and now I live in the southeast in South Carolina. And so I was a special education teacher for a very long time, and then I took on a second career, and now I do a little bit of both. And I've been able to add being an author, to my list of things that I've been able to accomplish, which has been a lifelong dream, really the dream of what I wanted to do my whole life. So I do that as well. So now it's a little bit of school, a little bit of real estate, and a little bit of writing. And that's just a little bit about about me. And
You wear many hats.
yes.
You do. Well, like I
Mhm,
said, just finishing a book
mhm,
is an achievement in itself. You told yourself one day you're going to write a book, you had an
mhm.
idea for a book, and you're going to actually do it.
Yes.
And you did. And I hear of so many stories where they got it, maybe a third of the way through, and then they just gave
Mhm,
up. So to actually finish the book, just give yourself a pat on the head. And then you followed through and published it.
mhm.
So congratulations. Now, the name of the book is Loves and Shadows. Do you happen to have a copy of it close by? I should have
Yes,
asked
yes,
you
I
before.
do.
Oh, yeah,
Right
yeah.
here.
My fault for not asking you before. So Love and Shadows, beautiful cover.
Mhm.
Are you self-published or did you go through a publisher?
I'm self-published.
Good for you. I am too.
Mhm,
And I love this journey that it takes me on. And for me, it's an issue of control. I want to be in control of my work, my book, the stuff that I write. My
mhm,
debut back in 18 was through a publisher, and I couldn't wait until the contract was up. It was, for
mhm.
me, a nightmare. But some people love that journey, love that route. For me, it
Mhm.
didn't work. So,
Yep.
congratulations on being self published. You are in 100% control of your book.
Mhm.
Hold it up one more time because I love the cover. Those
Oh,
eyes just
yes.
really draw you in. So
Mhm,
can you just give us a little background, number one, on the book
mhm,
without giving too much away?
mhm. So this is a story about a woman named Emery, and she relocates from a small town in the Midwest to a big city. She's escaping an abusive relationship, and she moves in with a friend. And while she's out there, she finds love in a very unexpected way while on her journey for self-discovery and just learning how to be in a new place and doing a new start. And she finds new love, and that comes with its challenges as well. But then also she has sort of a sense that something has followed her, so she's trying to navigate and figure out what has followed her and how to solve that problem as well.
Oh, wow. Sounds intriguing. It
Thank you.
does. Before we continue on with the book, I want to ask about the cover next. I'm going to just pop up some readers that are here. I'd like to acknowledge our readers for joining us. Again, I am talking to Lorraine Russell. If you have any questions for Lorraine, this is her debut novel. So give her a huge round of applause. I'm excited for her and her journey as a debut author. So go ahead and pop them in the comments, any questions, and I will get to as many as I can. But let's see who's joining us. We have Elaine is here. She says hello. And then I'm just going to go down the list. We have Virgie. She says hello, Tina and Lorraine. We have Belinda. She says hi. And then we have Shang. She says hello. And she also says congratulations on your debut.
Thank you.
Carla Brown. She says hi, ladies, and hello from Maine. And then Karen Geeling says, hi, Tina and Lorraine. And then Virgie also says, congratulations. And Belinda says, you have a lot of jobs. Lori says, hello, ladies. Who else we have here? Let me see. I'm going to keep on scrolling down. Carla Brown. She says, congratulations on your book. Okay, you're getting a lot of compliments on the cover. So when it
Yes.
comes to the cover, you have
Mhm.
100% control of this cover. Did you design it yourself?
So I designed it. Somebody put it together for me, but it's my idea, I guess. So I'm
Okay,
not sure how to answer that. So I hired somebody to design it, but when they said, "What are you looking for? What do you want?" That was mine. So to I had gotten a program where I had a writing coach, and at one point in the process, he asked me to visualize my book, that I was holding it in my hands, to visualize the cover. And what I visualize is what you see here in this top part is what I could really see vividly. And it's hard to see on the screen, but if you look closely, the city skyline is in her irises, in both irises.
oh, clever. No, I can't see that, but that is very clever.
Yeah, and so it was something I really, really loved the thought of it, and it became a part of the book. So it makes a little bit more sense. Once I could visualize the cover, I really wrote a scene in the book where the cover makes a little bit more sense about why that was the choice for the cover and is a part of the book. And then the bottom just has, that silhouette piece. And I wanted it to be something that drew the reader in, and was intriguing and was romantic, yet reflected a little bit of the suspense in the novel as well. So this here is, meant to be the main character, and then the two main characters here in the story. But then when I hired it out, they said, "What are you looking for? What is it you would like on your cover?" And then I had kind of expressed, this is what I visualized, and we went back and forth on different examples that they sent, and then I finally landed on this one.
It's gorgeous. And from what you're talking about the story, it looks very intriguing. And like I said, the eyes just pull you in. So when you had a vision of the book, those eyes, that is what you visioned for the cover. Is those eyes standing out like that? Yeah. Well, the cover designer did very well. She did an excellent job. And for a debut, it looks brilliant.
Thank you.
It really does. When it came to actually writing this book, Loves and Shadows, when did you actually get the idea for this book?
About a year ago, June probably. So I was, like I said, I had entered into this opportunity to have a writing coach. And so we were talking, and I had come up with some ideas and decided I wanted to write a romance novel that had a little bit of suspense. And I thought about, what are some things that I know, some pieces that are important to me. The things that I wanted to be in the book were a strong female character. I've gone through a relocation myself, so something I knew. I felt like I could be more realistic with the book in that way. Our stories are a little bit different, mine and the main characters, but there's always a little bit of pieces of things that you've experienced that to make things a little bit more realistic, make the story flow. And so those were some pieces that were a part of me as far as the relocation, and when you're starting fresh and trying to figure things out. And so that's kind of when I had gotten the idea and put the pieces together of, I want to write this story where there's romance and where there's suspense. And I did an outline, and I jotted down some ideas. And then my significant other and I, he's so supportive. And we spent a long time talking back and forth, and he would toss ideas at me and I would throw them back. And then I wrote the outline, and then I was able to sit down and write the book.
Wow. And I love that your significant other is supportive. Did he read the book?
He let me sort of read it to him as we went
Nice.
along, and would give me ideas, and what about this? And I'd be like, well, I really think we need to change here and this point in the story. Or I would take in his ideas and kind of modify them and let them fit the book. So it was really kind of, he read it as we went along, as I wrote the book.
I love that, because I want to let my husband read it until I've actually got a paperback.
Okay, well, it was recommended to me.
Stuff, then he gets to read it.
Okay, so he has to wait.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I was asked to practice reading aloud. So I would read aloud to him, and then I would write a little bit. And I had a couple of friends that on the nights that I would write, I would get to a stopping point, and then I would send a friend of mine a text. And I would say, do you feel like listening? And she would say, yeah. And so her and her husband listened to basically the whole book, and I would just read it to them. Mm-hmm.
What a great support. Now, you said that you got ideas in your head, a little bit of your life is thrown into the book. Now, you also said that you plotted the book. And I'm going to pop up this question. It's actually a couple of people asked this. So I'm popping it up from Karen. But she's asking, do your characters talk to you? And also, I think Lori Chasko asked the same question. I just can't find it. But do your characters talk to you while you're writing?
Um, I think I'm gonna answer this yes, just because I'm not sure exactly what she means by that, but when I was writing the book, I would find myself like I'd be out driving and in my mind I'd be wondering what my characters were doing. I could visualize my characters, and that probably was one of the most unique experiences I'd ever had. So again, it's my debut novel. It's my first experience getting to be able to be from start to finish. And so that was a new experience for me. So I would say yes, they do.
I
And
would say yes too. Yeah.
it's really rewarding, but it's a little unsettling if you've never experienced that before.
I
I will
mean,
say that.
yeah, I'm on book number 17, and I don't know, some writers are plotters, some writers are pansters. Now, you
Yes.
plotted your book, but you
Mhm.
might be like in the middle. Me, I'm a panster. I can't plot a book if my life
Right.
depended on it.
Mhm.
And I have these voices in my head, like you, how where the book's going, what's happening in the next chapter. To me, that is my characters talking to me.
Mhm.
And it's like I just finished a book. It came out in July. And I usually have some downtime before I start the next book, anywhere from a few weeks to a month, because I just want to clear my head of the book
Yep.
I just written. But I couldn't do that because I had characters from this other book. It's a series in my head about what's going on. I got to start this book now because they're already in my head. So
Mhm.
I started it much sooner. And with you saying that you were driving,
Mhm.
and you heard whether it be a plot of your book, a voice in your head, yeah, that's part of being a pantser. You let
Mhm.
your characters talk to you. And and some things the characters do their life, like I would never do that, but this character would. I'm
Right.
not that character, so I listen to them, even though I don't like what they're doing. By the end of the book, it totally makes sense. It totally
Mhm.
makes sense. So when you plot the book, I'm kind of getting into your writing head here. When you plot the book, I'm assuming you had a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Mhm.
Did the end stay true to itself, or did it kind of gear off and change by the time you got to that point?
Um, certain pieces did, but it changed a little bit because I wanted to leave it open for a sequel, so I had to play with it a little bit. What was I willing to leave open and what did I want to close in case it ended up being a standalone? So there were some pieces that changed and things throughout, even in the middle, had changed as well. So once I had a beginning, middle, and end, I kind of plotted each chapter a little bit, or at least had an idea of what was going to happen in each spot. And then I would sit down and write. And for me, it would be like, this chapter needs to end here. This is where we're ending. And
Just
that would shift then where the rest of the chapters would go.
okay.
Or something would come to me where I would think, oh, I need there to be a little bit more to the suspense piece here. And where do I want that piece to wrap up and culminate into the big climax or the part that's,
Right.
the most suspenseful with it. So, it shifted as I went, and I would say the ending did change. I mean, and there were other pieces in the book as well that as I went along certainly shifted.
Okay. And that's your characters, I got to tell you. Your characters shifted it for you. They did.
Okay.
I believe that. Okay. We've got some questions that I want to pop up for you real quick. I want to scroll up because there's one. Okay, here we go from, I think it's Belinda. Let me go up a little bit more. We're talking about your writing. So she wants to know, how long did it take you to write this book?
It took me about 3 months from start to finish.
That is not bad. I have to ask, how many pages or words?
It's 236 pages, I
That's a
believe.
good size. That's a good size.
Mhm.
That's very good. Now, I'm assuming, because that's really quick for a book to be written, that you wrote every day. Even though you had other jobs, you wrote every day?
I did not.
Oh, wow.
And so here's the interesting piece for me. So at that point, I was just teaching. So then starting it in June meant summer. So I really could have and should have written every day. I had some other things going on and happened to do a lot of traveling. In the summer, I probably wrote 2 to 3 times a week, but Friday nights started to become when I would write, and I would just write for hours and it would come together. So for me, when I can get into flow, I can just keep going.
You can kick out those words.
It's the getting into the flow. Sometimes that's a little bit more difficult for me.
That's really good, though. 3 months, one book. Very well done. And still with your writing habits, I have one right here from Cheyenne. She says, do you write in complete silence or with some music as a background?
So I love music overall, and I love all sorts of music, and I can do a lot of things with music in the background. I do prefer to write in complete silence.
Me
It's
too.
really very interesting.
I can do just instrumental music, but if
Mhm.
there's lyrics going in the background, forget it. I just can't, because then it muddles with my train of thought.
Yes, now that you say that, I wanna say a few times when I either got started or if I needed to pause and reread, I would ask, my Amazon thing, I'm not gonna name her because 'cause she'll start talking,
Yeah.
to play instrumental pop, because it was music I knew, but then I didn't have the lyrics. Any lyrics or TV or things like that in the background, very difficult for me to maintain focus and be in the story with my characters.
I am exactly the same way. Exactly
Mhm.
the same way. I have to have either complete silence or just instrumental. That's it. And Barbara joined us. I want to say hi to Barbara from Florida. She joined us. Hey, Barbara. Okay. You did kind of answer this question a little bit. It's from Virgie. She says, "What is your writing schedule? Do you write every
Mhm.
day?" So, if you want to add to anything you already said about your writing schedule.
Yeah, so when I finished the book, there was so much marketing that it was difficult to maintain the ability to write. I at one point tried to set a writing schedule and had joined a group where they had like an online writing group, like you could all get online at almost any time of the day, to tell you the truth. They had groups at all different times because they're across the world. And I went to try that, and then I made some shifts in my other careers, and so time was an issue. And so I'm still working on getting back to being able to write even a few times a week at this point,
It's hard.
because
It's hard.
just the marketing for this takes up time, and that takes away from the writing time, which is something I found really almost frustrating in the publishing process. After I got published, I found that a little frustrating. And so now I'm at a point where I have all these ideas for other books, and I'm wanting to sit down and write, and I'm struggling to put that pocket of time. And I'm glad that she asked this question, because for me it's something that I need to hold myself accountable for, that it's going to need to be a priority for me to continue on my author journey and continue to publish books, that I need to set some sort of schedule where I can have enough time to get into that mindset of flow and be able to continue to write.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like I said earlier, we wear many hats. And
Mhm.
for me, I have to, even though I love to write, I have to discipline myself to write, because there's so many distractions in life. And my readers know this, but my goal is 1,000 words a day,
That's
5 days a
awesome.
week. But it
Mhm.
doesn't matter when I write them. I can write
Mhm.
200 in the morning,
Yep.
300 after lunch, and then, well, at least 500 that I have to write before I go to bed. And my day's not over till I do. And a lot of times I'll go over the 1,000, especially like when you said you're on a roll and you can just kick out those words.
Yep.
But at least with 1,000 in a week, I've written 7,000 words. In a month,
Mhm.
I've written 30,000 words.
Right.
So you kind of half a book by then. So for me, that's what works for me. And like you said, you have to find something that works for you and just stick to it. But my
Mhm.
writing is first, and then my marketing's afterwards.
Right.
Even though we've got to do it all, it does get
Yes,
overwhelming at times. It really does.
it does. I would say I'm still, something you brought up in the beginning, I'm still really grateful to be self-published. Something I learned in that process that I didn't know, or what was explained to me, was that publishing is, when you're not self-published, it's like the music industry. They had the person that I was working with said to me, Lorraine, just so you know, if you go the traditional route, they own your work.
You
And I
do.
was like, but I did this.
Yeah, I spent
It,
my heart and soul on this thing. Yeah,
yes. And I was like, I can't. I don't know that I could.
yeah.
Just
I
that's not
tried
a
it.
route that interests me any longer, knowing that, even though I find the marketing daunting, and probably because I know less about social media than perhaps a lot of other people, and even other people my age, to tell you the truth. I probably should know more about it. It's not my um it's not a strong suit for me. The amount of time it takes me to create something to put out there is slightly embarrassing. And
It's
so
a
then I
learning curve.
struggle.
It's a learning curve, and you talk about uh, the traditional publishing, and like I said, I tried it. It's a 2-year contract. And not only is it about the control thing, but if I'm going to be blatantly honest, the royalties.
Mhm.
You, with a self-published, you get more royalties per
Okay.
book versus a traditional publisher. My dad was a traditional publisher. He was also an author. I still
Oh, cool.
handle his estates. The royalties from traditional publishing is 7% of the wholesale price. Think about that. The wholesale. If a
Right.
wholesale price is $7.99 because it retails for $15.99, you get 7% of that.
Right.
Versus self-publishing, and you know the rates for a self-published author when you sell a book, it's
Yep.
like night and day. For
That
an
is night and day.
ebook, we get like, I think it's 75%.
Yep.
And then for a paperback, we get like 60% or something like that. 65.
Yep. That's
So that alone right there is like, okay, goodbye. You know.
yep.
Yeah. And then the control issue, I wanted to put my book on sale or in Kindle Unlimited. They wouldn't do that.
Yep.
They
Right.
wouldn't do that. Speaking of which, back to your book. See how I get off track and I got to pull us back in. But
Yes.
your book, Loves and Shadows, is it on
Yes.
Kindle Unlimited?
It's not on Kindle Unlimited. It's on Kindle, but it's not on Kindle Unlimited. And so I had initially, I self-published on Amazon and
Right.
also put it on Kindle. I didn't put it on Kindle Unlimited because I was unsure if I was going to go the Ingram Spark route.
You
And
can
my
do both.
understand.
You can do both.
Oh, see, I didn't think I could. So my book has 2 publishing dates and 2 ISBNs because I'm just like learning how to do this. Is probably not the right way, but I published on Amazon first. And then when I was trying to get into bookstores, I was finding some do consignment, some don't. But if I was on Ingram Spark, it was a lot easier. And so then it's either March or May, I think I finally went the Ingram Spark route. So I really have 2. The whole book's the same. The cover's the same. The whole book's the
It's just the
same.
ISBNs. But
Right.
it depends. If you want to go in, I'll help you a little bit. But if you want to go into Kindle Unlimited, all of my
Yep.
books are in Kindle Unlimited. If you want to do that, the thing with Kindle Unlimited is you are exclusive for your ebooks only on Amazon. Your ebook won't be available anywhere else. You can't put it
Okay.
in Barnes and Nobles. You can't put it in the library. You're exclusive to Amazon ebooks, but your paperback can go everywhere. So it's
Okay.
just ebook that is exclusive. And what I do is I have a paperback on Ingram and on Amazon with their own.
Mhm.
I use one ISBN for both.
Right.
The paperback shares the same ISBN, so they join, and then the ebook has its own ISBN. But if you're going to go in KU, it can't be anywhere else. The ebook.
So
But
that's the part I misunderstood,
yeah,
I think.
and I'll be happy
I
to help
think I
you.
read as it couldn't be anywhere else, like the whole
Just
thing.
yeah, just the paper, just the ebook, because you're in
Okay.
KU. But if you, I'd be happy to help you through emails. Just shoot me an email. I'll help you figure it out. But for me, and this is just for me. I'm not telling you what to do or any other author to do, because it's your genre and it all depends on the genre, I believe. But all of my books are in KU, and 70% of my sales is KU.
Okay.
So, and what I would recommend all authors do is try it for 3 months, because
Mhm.
when you sign up for KU, you're committed for 3 months. Then you have the option to back out. If
Okay.
you find out that it was terrible for you, well, now you know. But if you
Mhm.
don't give it a shot for 3 months, you'll never know. And I
Right.
did both. I put it in KU, then I took it out, and all of a sudden, like, where'd my sales go? Put it back in KU, they came back up. So
Okay.
you have to test it. That's all I'm going to
Okay.
say. But you might do great, you might do bad. Who knows?
Mhm.
But you won't know unless you try it. I love KU
Mhm.
because it's worked for me in my books, but it doesn't work for everybody. There's certain genres like science fiction and historical I don't think do well in KU. So I think it
I
goes by the genre. I believe it depends on the kind of
Yep.
readers. I think that a lot of readers, and I might be totally wrong, but I think a majority of the readers in KU are women. I do.
Right.
I
Mhm.
really do. But I would definitely give it a shot. But I would happy to help you in emails to get it sorted so you do
Thank
it
you.
right. Just shoot me an email. Let's go
Okay.
back to our conversation. Okay, we're still here. Let's see what we got going in the. Okay, I do want to ask you though. Back to your book, Loves and Shadows. You
Yes.
mentioned it's a romance. What genre
Yes.
would you classify it as? Romantic suspense?
Yes.
Romantic.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to
Mhm.
ask you about steam. Is there any steam? Is it a clean romance? Is there steam?
Closed door is what I've been calling it.
Okay.
Closed doors romance.
Okay, I like that.
Mhm.
So on a steam level, the pretty much isn't. It's like a 1. maybe a 2.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Yeah, 1, maybe 2. That's right. Yes.
Okay, and then Elaine's putting up here, my husband uses KU. Okay, I said majority. He does. Lawrence, her husband, has read my books. He's a great supporter. Elaine is an author's dream, so you need to get to know Elaine. She's a great
Awesome.
reviewer. Actually, all of these people are. They are
Awesome.
great supporters of what we do. I want to put up some questions. Let's ask about, okay, this book's completed. When did it come out?
So when I published on Amazon, it came out last September of 24.
Oh, okay. So it's been out a while. So have you been working on anything since?
Yes, but more so up here, and then I've tried to put some stuff on paper for it. I've actually been working on, so I wanted to do a sequel here, and then I had an idea for, I guess what we'll call more of a mystery / psychological thriller that I'd really like to work on, and that's been a little bit tougher because my ideas have been all over the place. There's one character I sit with for that specific book quite often, but the rest of the pieces and pulling that together have been a little bit more difficult. And so that's one that I think might be my next book before I wrap up the sequel to this.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have, okay, you said you're working on it. You don't have any kind of release date for it. You just
No.
working on it. No.
Yes.
You don't want to put pressure on yourself. And I do the same thing when I'm writing. I don't even talk about a release date until the first draft is done.
Yeah.
I don't work well under pressure. I really don't. And that's probably another reason why I didn't go traditional is because, well, we need it by this date. Well, then I'm going to blow this one. But I do not work good under pressure. So until my first draft is done, I mean, I'll talk about the book. I get people excited about the book, but I don't tell them when it's coming out. I just can't. I just can't. And I put that question up because that was what you were talking about. Let's see. Oh, Kathy's watching us on YouTube. Hi, Kathy, Flash Cat. She says, I have to plan. I guess I have to plan. Okay, this is an interesting question from Belinda. She says, do you think you will write different tropes?
Yeah, I think I would like to try different tropes, to tell you the truth. Because this is my debut novel, I know that people recommend like staying within a certain genre. And for me, I'd like to explore a little bit before I just stay in one. I certainly respect that, and I think there's a lot to be said for it. But I also want to, I feel like trying new things is how you learn and how you grow.
Yeah, and you find your voice.
Right. And I don't feel like I found that yet. Not that I didn't enjoy writing this book, because I loved every second of it, even the hard parts. But then when there's an idea up there, you want to go with it. I would not want to have the idea that I was just talking with you about and just be like, well, I can't do that because I write romantic suspense.
I agree.
And there's been some other, as a writer, I'm sure you probably know this, like just other ideas that float in and out when you're not focused on just the one book that maybe you've been sitting with, or when those characters aren't speaking to you. And so there are other, I think, different tropes that I'd like to certainly explore.
I agree with you 100%. Like I said, it took me a while to find my voice. My first trilogy was about family fictions, challenges that they face, problems they have. And then I wrote a romantic suspense. I had fun writing it, but that's where it went. Fun. That was it.
Right.
Then I went back to family and challenges and secrets. That's what I enjoy writing, and kind of peeling away the layers of an onion of why people act the way they do. That's what I enjoy doing. Just really getting into the head of characters. And so that's what I'm sticking with. And I agree with you 100%. You have to find your niche. You have to find your voice. You have to find your genre. And so what if you write more than one genre? You got double the readers.
Right.
You'll attract these kind of readers. You attract these kind of readers. And then we have many readers, many here that read all kinds of genres.
Yep. And I'm the same way. I read all kinds of genres. Probably the only one I don't read is if you're talking like straight horror.
I don't do horror.
I don't watch those movies either. I don't really like being scared. Say it again.
We have a lot in common. I don't do horror either, writing or watching. And here's a question from Lori that popped up because of what you said. Which authors do you like to read?
So it took me a long time to be able to probably answer this question because I would just pick up books based on what I liked. Probably one of the first authors that I followed was Kristen Hanna. I loved her like strong women characters. My older sister introduced me to Colleen Hoover. And then there is one, Amy Reichert is her name, and she is from very close to where I'm originally from in Wisconsin. So as a local author, and this is well before I thought that Love and Shadows would be a reality in my life, followed her and have read her books. So I picked those up, but I'm also not great at, oh, they have a new book, I have to have it. I really just appreciate a good story.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll pick up, like I said, just about anything. If it's a good story, great. And if it's really good, I'll read a couple more of those. But I'm not great at like I have to have their whole collection, which
The only
probably
way,
makes me sound terrible, but I just like different things.
yeah, you like it. The only time I will buy, an author's all their books is if it's a series. If I'm
Mhm.
going to start a series and I'm enjoying it, I will pick up the next one and the next one and the next one. But if it's a standalone and the authors come up with this book, that book, and I'm like you, I jump around. If I'm not in the
Mhm.
mood for that kind of genre, then I'll get it later. I don't have to
Mhm.
get it right when it comes out.
Mhm.
And I like variety like yourself. But yeah, I don't do horror either
Yeah.
watching or. Um, I want to have you set the straight for Cheyenne here for your next book, just to make it clear. Is your next book the sequel to The Shadow and Love? Explain to her.
No, I don't think it will be. I
Okay.
hope I have a sequel to this book, Love and Shadows, but I don't think it will be. I don't think my next book will be that. I think it will be the psychological thriller slash mystery that I've been kind of sitting with for probably about 6 months at
Oh
least that I've
wow.
been and just really need to sit down and get started. But I think for me, I am a bit of a planner. That's how I did this one, and I
Mhm.
struggled. So before I was able to write a novel, when I was younger, would just write when I felt that it was an emotional thing for me. It was very therapeutic. So it would be poetry or I guess what I would call short essays.
Mhm.
Um, and things like that. And then I would do it a little bit here and there as I got a little bit older. For me, anytime I tried to start a novel, it would sort of be the first line or the first chapter would just come to me and I could get that out. And then I never knew where to go after that. So I have to be able to put together all the pieces. And I
Right.
think that's where I struggle with the psychological thriller that I'm working on. Like, I feel like I know the character and I know bits and pieces of her story, but I'm struggling to put those pieces together. But I do need to sit down and just really work on it. And then I hope to have the sequel to Love and
That'd
Shadows.
be
But
awesome.
that plays a little bit here too. Like it's like two in one. Which
Yeah.
characters are speaking to me on which day, maybe?
Yeah. Now you said that you get all kinds of ideas, even when you're working on another book or a
Mhm.
current book. Do you actually write down your ideas when they come into your head?
I have before, yes. I have written them down in different places. The hard part for me is sometimes when it comes to me, I'm not home. So that notes app on my phone has become something that I use quite frequently.
You know what I do is I email them to myself.
Oh, I did not think about that.
I didn't either until I had a guest on a couple of years ago. And
Yep.
I asked her, do you carry a notebook? Because these things, I still have them on my desk, but I
Yep.
don't walk around with a notebook in my purse. She goes, no, I email it to myself. And it's like, that's too easy. And I've
Right.
been doing it ever since. And
Right. Like, why didn't I think of
I
that?
have a folder in my email box,
Mhm.
ideas. And I
Mhm.
might be, if I'm driving, of course, I don't pull over. I'm not one of, but it's in my head until I park or whatever. And I will
Yep.
immediately email myself the idea. It's just a couple of words to jog my memory.
Yep.
And there we
I
go.
think it's a great way to do it because I tried voicing it once again because I was in the car. Like it'll come to me in the car, and I'm like, this
Yeah,
is the best but worst place for it to happen because you can't do anything about it.
you can't.
And I tried voicing it, and everything was all messed up. I was like, these are not the words that I had in my head, and
Yeah,
so the
I don't
emailing
do
it's perfect.
voice to text. He doesn't understand the bloody word I'm saying. You have an accent. I have an accent. And I tried it once with a book just because some authors have been doing voice to text. I'm going to give this a go. So I did voice to text. It was garbage.
Yeah,
It's
it's
going to
really
take me an
tough.
hour to clean this up. I'm not doing
Yep.
this. Yeah.
Hmm.
But try the email. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely.
I thank that author for suggesting that idea. And it works brilliantly. It was just
Hmm.
too easy for me to think of that.
It is too easy.
It's just
It
like,
is. I was like, man, that's genius.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely try that. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit real quick. The title of your book. I love the title. I love
Mhm.
short titles on books. I do.
Yep.
They're
Mhm.
catchy. They're easy to remember.
Mhm.
Shadow and loves. Shadow and loves.
Mhm.
I gotta get it
Love
right.
and Shadows.
Loves and shadows. There we go.
Yes.
Did you have the title prior to writing the book, or did it come to you as you were writing? Just give me a little process on how you came up with that title.
So I actually came up with a list of ideas for the title and then took a poll of a few people. But at the end of the day, Love and Shadows was my favorite on the list because it spoke to both parts of it. And to me, I thought if I went to pick up a book and this is what it said in these two words, I would be wondering, what is this? Like, what do you love? And, so for me, that's what it was. But I had written a few different titles. I think I had a list about 8 to 10. And I asked a few people, some friends that I know that are readers. I did go to a couple bookstores and asked readers there, asked the people who worked there, like, if, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm just wondering what you might pick for what I'm looking at. And so I kind of tallied that. And this one was in the running with another one that off the top of my head, I don't remember what it was. And so this is the one I ended up choosing.
I love that you involved readers, that you actually
Mhm.
went out, researched,
Mhm.
and got readers' feedback.
Mhm.
I absolutely love that. The book you're
Yeah.
working on, the suspense thriller, psychological
Yes.
thriller. Do you have a title for that one yet?
I do, and I started with a title, but I'll say this, the reason I won't share the title is because if I go with the title I actually want, I'm gonna have to get permission to use the title.
Oh, okay, then keep
Mhm.
it to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where, like a name in it is the name of something that already exists, so I would need their permission to use it is how I understand
Oh,
it.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh,
and so, if I can't do that, I have to adjust the title, but the idea for that book started with the title. Actually, the title came to me first and then the other pieces. I have a local author friend here that I met with, and her and I talked. I said, "Hey, this is my idea for the title. This is kind of what I want to do." And she was able to toss some ideas back at me and I formulated it. And like I said, I sit with the one character in the book quite a bit. And so I think I just need to get that outline done, but also try to navigate if I can have the title I'd really want.
interesting. We'll have to get you back on when this book is published. We
That
really
would
will.
be great.
I have a little waiting, but we'll get you on. I'd love to.
Okay.
I'd love to. Um,
Mhm.
this book, I hate it when the question just goes out of my head. Give me a minute. Let me
Yep.
regroup here. Let me regroup. All right. Okay. The no, it went away again. Hold on. I'm getting there. Jesus, never mind. Okay, I have to think. Let me pop this up real quick until I think of the question that was in my head a minute ago. Okay, question from Belinda: are you interested in doing book signings?
Absolutely.
Have you done any yet?
Yes, I so there's a local Barnes and Noble that I did one at recently. There is not too far from where I live, there's a small bookstore and she's really supportive of local authors. And so maybe it wasn't quite a book signing, but she does like an author and artisans market. And so there's a lot of local authors there. And so you bring your books that are already signed and things like that. I'm trying to think where else I have done them. I did a few of hers at that local bookstore. And then I have one coming up. It's more like a book fair than a signing, but you bring
Yeah.
your autographed books as well,
Hmm.
your signed copies, I should say. So, but absolutely interested in doing book signings. Yes.
Wonderful. Excellent. I remember the question. I had to write it down. You said you're a teacher. Are you
Mhm.
still a teacher?
Yes and no. It's
Okay.
a bit of a, so I was a special education teacher for 18 years. And at the end of last school year, I had decided that I wanted to try something completely different. And so, well, I should say before the end, because I had to prepare to do something else. I think in my mind, it was, um, there were just some parts of it that I was ready to walk away from. And also, there's that sort of journey where you like, you only get one life. I want to try different things. And so I
Good for you.
wanted to be able to do
Good
something
for
different
you. Yeah.
and something that provided me a little bit more freedom and time. And so I worked towards that. I decided real estate was what I wanted to try. So it would, I made sure I had that lined up before I had said, hey, I think I'm going to be done. But I'm really, really interested in working with kids who have difficulties with behaviors. And it's something I've volunteered to work with throughout my career and have very much so enjoyed. And at some point might write a book about, which would not be fiction. So it would be, something separate, but more so about my experiences and what I believe works. But so when I left the district that I was working for, I said, hey, if you ever need help with kids with behaviors or things like that, I will have freedom in my schedule. If I have time, I'm more than happy to come in and help. Or if something opens up, please let me know. And something did open up. So I made the choice to go back and try both for a little bit to see how that goes, because it was an opportunity to spend the whole day doing something I love. So instead of having a classroom, I have the opportunity to help kids with behaviors, but also to support teachers. So I support them if they need help with a student or overall classroom management. I might have opportunities to do some professional development, which is something else I'm passionate about
Wow.
or enjoy doing. And so I'm still in education. And it was about 2 weeks before the school year started. And they called and said, we have a position. Would you like to interview for it? It's something we think that you might be really interested in. And I just had to give it a chance. And so I did.
Good for you. And what age group do you work with? What's the age group?
Elementary.
Okay.
So kindergarten through 5th grade.
Good for you.
Well, 4K. We have 4K. So
okay, that's wonderful. I love it.
thank you.
You said that your significant other is very supportive, reads your book chapter by chapter. How about the rest of your family? Have they read your work?
They have. They've been very supportive, actually. And actually, my significant other's family has been very supportive, which was really endearing. Probably one of the most heartwarming things is he has an uncle that has. My significant other would come home and be like, my uncle needs more of your books. My uncle, I'm like, are you sure? Like, and he hands them out, and he would buy copies of the books and hand them out, and made sure everybody in my significant other's family got a copy and has read it himself, asks all the time, when is my next book coming out? So that has been really great. But yes, so my sister has read it. I have some aunts that have read it. My stepdad has said he's read it. So a lot of my family has been really supportive.
That is really cool. And he goes out and sells the book too. Me and my husband, we wrote a book together.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he is so good at selling that book.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, he comes tell me I sold another book. Okay, I'll order more. So he's the salesman for that book. But I love the support that he gives you. I really do. This is your debut. You've got to be super, super proud that you followed through.
Yes.
What did you do to celebrate when that book finally hit the bookstores, the bookshelves, Amazon? What did you do?
I am not great at the celebrating and things like that. I really, I think we maybe just, went out and had a dinner or something. I don't even recall, to tell you the truth. Because I think that which sounds terrible, because if I'm being honest, I've wanted to do this since the 4th grade. Since the 4th grade, I've wanted to be an author. That's really all I really wanted to do. And it's something that was like, I've wanted my whole life. And at some point was like, how do you do that? And thought, well, it probably won't happen. And then it did. And I honestly, there was not really a big celebration, which is, I know super probably is like, wow, that was a terrible story, but I'm not great at self-celebrating.
Yeah, but I'm sure you got chills when you actually held your book for the first time in your hands.
Yes.
That is a feeling. Even after the books I've written, every time I get to see my book, in my hands for the first time, it never gets old. It never, ever gets old, no matter how many books you write. I took the comment down for a minute, but I want to pop this up from Xiang. She says, I'd like to get some ideas or advice from you to deal with students with behavior. Thank you for what you did or what you're doing. I'm not sure if she wants you to email her or message you. I'm not sure if you want to.
Yeah, she's welcome to message me on Facebook, and I would be more than happy to connect and share those ideas.
Okay, there you go, Xiang. And she can find you under your Lorraine Russell, correct?
Yes.
All right, there we go. And I think there is a link in the text above this video of where we can reach you too. So that way you can do that. Let me see what this one says. Your dream to write a book came true. Congratulations, Carol says. And hey, Carol, I didn't know you were here. Thank you for joining us, Carol. Okay. when you're not writing, you're not teaching, and whatever other hat, real estate was the other one.
Yes.
What do you like to do for fun when you just want to
Um,
get away from the workforce and the writing?
yes. I used to like to read, and I say used to. Doesn't that I should say phrase it a different way. I have a hard time now relaxing my mind enough to stay focused on almost any book. It feels almost forced. And I pick up lots of different books, and I've made it through a few since I've written the book, but since I've had so much going on, turning off all the noise in my mind has been difficult. So I should say it a different way. I do enjoy reading, but I haven't as much as I used to because I have a hard time with focus. But I do like to get out and just explore the area. So I've only been here about 4 years. So I still like to go and like try new restaurants or try a new place for coffee or try new festivals. Spend some time with friends and family. Um, I guess those are really some of the things that I enjoy doing. I used to do a little bit of photography, which you'll see a little bit of in the book as well. Um, but I haven't done a lot of that lately. And that's something I really just play around with. I've had people ask me, "Do you think you'll do something with that?" I'm like, I really just like to play with that and see what I can do kind of just for me. Or I do use it for like a calendar I give to family members every year. I take the pictures and create a calendar
I
and
love.
put
I
some
used to do
either
that.
verses on it and things like that.
Yeah, I used to do it. I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. So, those sorts of things are, I guess, what I like to do for fun when I'm not doing one of the other million things
Well, I
that
like
I have.
family focused. I do.
Can you say that again?
I like the fact that you're family focused. I love
Thank
that.
you.
And I can totally relate with your reading habits, how they've changed since becoming a writer.
Okay.
I feel bad sometimes because I call myself still an avid reader. I always have a
Mhm.
book I'm reading. I'm
Yes.
just not reading as many as I'd like to. I've been reading the same book like a month. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely loving this book, and I
Right.
feel bad for the author. It's a really, really good book, historical fiction. But like you, I can only read about 3 chapters at a time, and then all of a sudden, my mind is wandering to my book of
Yep.
what I'm writing, and to
hmm
me, it's not fair to the author whose book I'm reading. But that's as much as I got, and
hmm
before I could read, a book in like a couple of days, 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
Now it takes me a good month.
hmm
And I don't want to worry the author that I'm not liking the book. I absolutely love the book.
Yep.
But after 3 chapters, I'm not focusing enough to really enjoy it. And it's not fair to her.
hmm
So it just takes me a
That's
long
a relief for me because I've been feeling
time.
guilty for months. Like I write books, I want to be a better part of the literary community. I always tell people, so I'm trying to read more and pull more books in, and I just have a hard time. Or I'm already comparing. I'm on like page 2, and I was like, oh, do I word things right this way? I like this. Do I do this? Like, and so I just really have struggled to, like you said, stay focused on the book and what the book is for. I used to be the type of person that at least once or twice in the summer when I wasn't teaching, I could read a book in a day. And I loved those days where I could sit and read the whole book, but I'm not great at detail reading because I'm not a visual thinker. So for everybody who can read and see the whole book, I don't have the capability, I think in words. So I really hear it. And so I don't always need a lot of details. So I tend to, I don't spend a lot of time on the details in a book. So for me, reading a book in the day has worked, not like crazy thick ones, but
Yeah. Well, these readers know the only place I read a book is in the bathtub.
okay.
I get no quiet time. So I'm taking a long
Yep.
bath. I'll see you when I come out. That's where I read my
Yep.
books. And but after 3 chapters, I can't do it. I just can't.
hmm
And the other thing too is my reading habits have changed since becoming a writer. Like you, I kind of break up and see what if I do that or if something pulls me in.
Yep.
What did they do to pull me in like that? And I
Yep.
reread a paragraph that
hmm
totally pulled me in. Or if I find myself daydreaming about dinner or my book, then what is that paragraph lacking to not
Yep.
keep me engaged? So my reading habits change. I break apart the book.
It's very different than it
It's
was before.
totally different. Totally different. This has been an intriguing chat. I am watching the time. It goes by really quick.
It does.
Can you, being a self-published author, being a debut author, you've gone through the whole process of writing, editing, cover design, marketing. What has been the hardest part of writing this debut novel?
Marketing.
Okay, I knew
hmm
it. Yeah,
hmm
it's really, really tough. It
It is
really
really.
is. Do you have any ideas of, I know what you're doing is podcasting right now, which is great. Do
Mhm.
you have a platform where readers can find you? If they want to
Uh,
look you up as like Lorraine Russell or your book, where can they find you? Which platform is best to find you on?
So I have a Facebook page. I have an Instagram. So my Instagram is at author Lorraine Russell. My Facebook page is Lorraine Russell. It's an author Facebook page. I do have a website, the LorraineRussell.com. That's it's a little bit stagnant, I should say. The information on there is really just a lot about Love and Shadows, a short bio, a few of the places you can get the book, and a link to purchase the book. Um, and then I do a monthly, mostly every month, newsletter using Substack. And so that was something that was recommended to me. And I've really liked it because the ease of writing the newsletter has been great. And the ease of putting out the newsletter has been great. So if people subscribe to it, it automatically puts that in there. Or when I've done book signings and put an email list out there, people have signed up for that. I just go into Substack, enter that in, and then the next month it kicks it right out.
Oh,
And
perfect.
it's been really smooth.
So can readers go to your website and sign up for the newsletter?
You know what? I have to double check that. That's a great question. You should be able to, but that's a great question. I got to double check that.
Yeah, double check that and let me know, and we can post a link for you to have them
Okay.
sign up if they're interested in it. But
Yes.
that'll be great. That'll be good.
Hmm.
Excellent. All right. This is a question I ask most authors, actually,
Hmm.
all of authors. What piece of advice would you give to a writer that would like to become a published author?
The advice that was given to me, and I probably say the same thing every time I get asked that question, which is just right. The advice that was given to me was just right. Just keep writing. Don't go back and edit. Just keep writing until you're finished, and then go back and edit. The advice was, I'm going to mess this up, so I'm going to do the best I can with the quote that was given to me. You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great.
I love it.
And so it was just keep writing, just keep writing. And so that probably is the best advice. Just keep going. And I really worked hard not to edit as I went, unless the characters changed something in my mind, or when I go back to what I'm working on, I have to reread. I don't have to reread the whole thing, but I have to reread a few pages to see where was my flow at that point. Even though I can remember where I stopped at, I need to get back into the mindset I was for where I'm going. So I did still continue to go back and reread, but I tried really hard not to change it or be like, well, readers like this, won't they like this? Save that for the end. Just right. You have to at least you have to put something down in order to have something to work with.
Exactly. You won't have a book to edit if you don't write it. And
Right.
I do not go back and read. Like you,
Mm.
I'll read a paragraph or two,
Yep.
but it'll be months until I read chapter one again. If
Okay.
I do not read at all, because if I start changing things,
Hmm.
I'll get nowhere. I'll get
Yep. And the whole story will change.
yeah, and I just can't. And the characters are telling me what to write. I'm a pantser, so I don't even
Yep.
plot my books. I just sit down and whatever they tell me, I'm writing, whether I like
Yep.
it or not. So for me to go back and change something is being not trustful or truthful to my characters. They're telling me
Hmm.
the story, so I'm just going to stick to what they told me, whether I like
Hmm.
it or not. So the other thing too is here goes my question's gone again. All right, okay, never mind. I'll skip that one. Okay,
Okay.
we are coming to the end of
Hmm.
this chat, which I could do for another hour. You're a very, very interesting author. Oh, I know what it was.
Thank you.
Questions come back again. Now you're doing your second book. Is there
Mhm.
anything you're going to do different that you did on the first book? That maybe you learned
Ah,
something?
yes. I think that so when I say I'm not a detail reader, I was really cautious in my book not to spend a lengthy amount of time on details. And as I go back and look, I could have made it a little meatier in some places. So I think that in my next book, I need to have a better balance between, more descriptions and painting a better picture than just telling the plot of the story. So I
Oh,
think
I
that
like that.
sometimes when I look back, I think, I probably could have given a little more details, or I could have let a piece of the storyline go on a little longer. But perhaps for fear of they might get bored with this, or maybe this isn't moving fast enough, I think that it's okay to have just a little bit more space than I gave in my first novel. And that's something I'd like to really focus on.
I love that. And it's like we said earlier, we're finding our voice, finding our writing technique. And that's all part of the process. It's all part of the journey. So
Yes.
I absolutely, absolutely love that. Lorraine, this has been a fantastic chat. You are doing, oh, you're welcome. You are doing a giveaway. So I want to thank you for that. If you could tell our readers what the giveaway is.
So I have a book here, and then I should have said it in here, but there's also a bookmark that goes with the book as well.
Excellent. And it'll be signed, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yay.
Absolutely.
All right. So we will go ahead and announce the winner a couple of hours after this chat. And I'm also doing my regular giveaway, which is the $5 Amazon gift card. You simply go to my author page on Facebook, share the video as many times as you want to your favorite groups, your favorite author pages, favorite reading groups, your friends, your family, Instagram, wherever you want to share it, but do tag me. So that way I know you shared it, and you'll be in the drawing for a $5 Amazon gift card. And I will also announce it at the same time. I will email you, Lorraine, with the winner's details. And do you have any final thoughts or things you want to say?
I don't. This has been fantastic, though. Really, thank you for the opportunity. I've had such a great time and really enjoyed being able to talk about writing and interact with the readers. It's been a wonderful experience. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And I do want to mention, too, if you go to my author page, Tina Hogan Grant author on Facebook, you can share this video wherever you want.
Okay.
You can you can share it from YouTube, too, but usually get shared from Facebook. So keep that in. I tried tagging you on that, and I couldn't tag you for whatever reason. I don't know.
Oh,
that's
okay.
Facebook. That's just Facebook.
Yes.
But it's been my pleasure. Thank you, readers, for the great questions and for hanging out with us. I'll see you back in the group, and I'll announce the winner in a couple of hours. Thank you, Lorraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. Good night, everyone.